We are happy to announce that this episode of the SW Show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/?partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/?partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights, maybe it's Mike camera, maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out.
Hello everyone and welcome to Movie Club for, is this, well, no, we did No Time to Die. I was going to say, is this the series where the movie that we're doing is the highest number in the series?
Well, technically, No Time to Die, like, depending how you do that stuff, would change that number.
No Time to Die is the 28th film.
Oh, sure, but for Daniel Craig, it's the 5th.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, but it depends how you do it. Do you count by Bond? Do you count by the whole thing?
Well, then this is only the 8th with Vin Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're doing Fast 10.
Mm-hmm. We're fastening our seatbelts.
If you couldn't figure it out by us trying to figure out nomenclature, numerology. I'll tell you this right now. Normally, I don't take notes because we record these around when I see them. I saw this opening night, and it's been a week. I have 2 pages of notes.
Where would you like to begin then?
Well, I didn't write these down in order, so it's not.
Okay, so let's start with initial.
Yeah.
Do you believe this is the craziest one of these?
Yes. For a lot of different reasons, but I mean mainly because, right, this since probably 5, they've acted as if physics doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one's just the culmination of that. Yeah, it's just I do have a note about that. Do I not? Yes, these films are so ridiculous at this point that I couldn't help but laugh during most of this.
But like that makes it enjoyable, right? In a way that I think at least you have to give them props for.
You're like, oh my god, I can't believe you guys are doing that. And the problem is with this movie, just saying that phrase, right? Like, I can't believe you did that, could apply for 15 sequences out of this film.
What is there, 16 then? Like, the whole film,
there's maybe 20 sequences. Like, yeah, I'd say there's probably 20 sequences. And 15 of them, you're like, okay, come on, really? I do have to give them a lot of credit. This film, besides the fact that it feels like they needed to get everyone back for whatever reason, like, they saw, oh, well, there's this storyline that was never finished, even though it was kind of finished, right, for a character, and then the character died off or isn't there anymore or whatever. But now they're like, oh, we need to get that character back in.
Mm-hmm.
All that being said, the fact that they did the driving lesson in Dodger's parking lot, harkening back to the opening of the first film.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't the opening, but it was...
Yeah, it's like the scene of it.
It was the introduction to Brian O'Connor driving his Eclipse in the Dodgers parking lot. that that sequence I thought was such a
Homage.
nice oh yeah, a nice homage to Paul Walker's legacy in this franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, he can't do anything, right? Like, what are you gonna do? Get his brother back? Do some deep
Mm-hmm.
fake stuff?
Right. And Willie's given there's some level always of like he tries to respect it. Like obviously he still does crazy
Yeah.
stuff, but I think he still respects it, I think, more than other studios or producers tend to.
I mean, the fact that they made the 10th movie based on the 5th movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? And specifically the end of the 5th movie, where, and I will say, I think they went back and used shots that aren't in the film, in the 5th film,
Mm-hmm.
because watching through that sequence, I was like, I don't remember that shot. I haven't seen the 5th one in a while, but I don't remember that shot being in there. Which, speaking of, there, and this goes back to like the films being so ridiculous, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, we had to tie in, oh, the son was in the car behind the dad who dies, and the son gets knocked off the bridge, and he was there to see the safe, the hole where the safe was, and Alan Richardson's character was there too, and it's like, okay,
It's a pretty wild merging.
they want to show their retconning, right? Like, it's not enough that there's just a new character introduced. It's now at the point where we have to go back and retcon the character into the timeline, and I'm like, you just don't.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't. Like, I don't care. Right? The people seeing these films don't give a shit that Scott Eastwood's character is now called Little Nobody. Right? Like,
That was the best, right? When we were like, what?
I mean, it's hilarious that they gave him that nickname because, considering Scott Eastwood's early life of his dad never acknowledged him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was from one of his failed marriages, and everyone was like, nah, this dude is definitely your son. Like, he looks exactly like you. Yeah, so having his character be called Little Nobody was pretty fun.
That's good. I also want to put out the obvious. What did you think of our new characters? Obviously, we came kind of going into the film thinking of.
Yeah, we knew Jason Momoa was going to be the big bad.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, dude, he is like. Do I have it on here? Yeah, his character is like a flamboyant version of Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I think he enjoyed himself at least.
He was so psychotic and sociopathic. But then, there was the scene in Brazil of like my shirt, or was it like my nails, it matches the car or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's funny because it's Jason Momoa, this guy that you've seen on screen as Aquaman,
Mm-hmm.
and absolutely shredded. And in this, like, he's still big. Like, you can see that he's extremely muscular, but he's kind of got a bit of a dad bod.
Yeah, you can tell he's starting to age.
Yeah. Or he just didn't want to do the, severe caloric restriction and dehydration for this, which I don't blame him. But yeah, I was like, I just, like, I don't know, having your character be hinting at, maybe some BDSM feelings towards Dominic Toretto and this and that. And I'm like, I just don't care. Like, I would have been perfectly fine because so many of the bad guys in these films are just like nameless gangsters, right? Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Again, like, the bad guys are never they're never a crucial part of these films. And now it feels like for the 10th one, it just feels like it's too serious now, or it's trying to take itself too serious. Which these films never needed that. Like, these films always were bolstered by the dumb one-liners and the
random celebrity.
like the occasional random celebrity, and then it was basically car porn for 2 hours, right? Like, that was the draw of the first one, was introducing so many people to tuner culture.
Even like the first like 2 or 3, like I'd say, until you really get that soft reboot.
Yeah, the fact that 2 started with a car that you couldn't get in the States. Right, it introduced everyone to the R34 and cemented that car in so many people's minds, right? To the point where now to get one of those imported to the States because it's finally legal, the cheapest ones I've seen are $90,000.
Sheesh.
A good one is $250,000. To buy it in Japan and ship it to the States. To ship it's probably another 10 or 15. So you're looking at $270,000 for an R34 Skyline. Because of that movie, because of the second one. And then Tokyo Drift introduced everyone to drifting. Right? It had obviously been a thing before that, but it introduced the wider world to drifting. And then 4, Drug Runner 1, was kind of like it wasn't necessarily a soft reboot, but it was back to 1, right? Where it was less subdued, or it was more subdued, kind of, maybe a few minor body modifications and a paint job, and then performance upgrades. It wasn't anything crazy, it wasn't a big Veilside body kit on an RX-7 that made the car look incredible. It wasn't, the S14 Mona Lisa. It wasn't, the Red Evo. It wasn't that stuff from 3. And then 5 was the introduction of Dodge clearly sponsors these films. Because they're always driving Chargers, or, the bank heist is, it's 2 Chargers. Things like that. And, it's just gotten more ridiculous and featured more ridiculous cars. But that's always been the point of it, right? Like, and having Cena drive Fords through the whole thing, which, by the way, the reference to 9 by him driving that blue Fox body might be their best reference, right? Like, Jacob, Cena's character, that's the car that he loses to Dom in the flashback in 9. And he's kept it to this day.
Child flashback, yeah.
And he's kept it to that day, or to the present time, and still drives it, and that. But having him drive Fords for all of his stuff, except for the final car, was a really cool nod to Cena's own car collection. He's a really big Ford guy, so it was cool to have that be his thing. Because
wow. So
otherwise,
so let's
who cares, Dom's always going to drive a Charger. Whatever.
So I was gonna say, I want to dig in now to any moments or stuff kind of stood out to you, kind of, if you're trying to explain why people should or shouldn't go out to the theaters for this.
My parents asked me if I had seen this, and what I thought about it. And I said, yeah, I've seen it, and this film is absolutely ridiculous, but I would go see it again. It's one of those films where the absurdity of it is just fun at a certain point. You know, you're going to be eye rolling, right? Like, okay, you know, sure, yeah, you could airdrop a charger onto 2 cars and it'll be fine. Sure, whatever. I roll with that. But then you're like, okay, you literally built a car that could rocket jump, completely negating the laws of physics. You know, things like that. Or the, you know, the helicopter tether where he's, you know, jumping through the air.
I've seen along till that. Yeah.
I was like, this is just ridiculous. You know, so the I will say it's very odd, and I think when they wrote this film, they wrote it in such a way that, you know, Alan Ritchson's character, first off, is massive. Like, that dude, obviously he was bulking up for Reacher, for season 2 of Reacher. God damn, does he look like he's yoked. And I'm so ready for the second season of Reacher. But, you know, like, he has that line of, you know, how does everyone, like, become family to you or whatever? And I thought that was interesting because that line comes after, you know, Cypher crawling to Dom's door with a stab wound. You know, and perfectly portraying the "any of me, my enemy is my friend" line, which might be the most overused line in film, to be like, oh, it's the sequel, but the bad guy from the first movie is now helping the good guy from the first movie because, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's like, that Cypher storyline is potentially one of the dumbest they've ever done.
I almost think it is the dumbest.
Oh, you're telling me the software guy from 3 sending a Fiero to space isn't the dumbest storyline?
See, but I think that storyline's more fun, and maybe that's why I give it credit.
Okay, yes, I'll give you that. That storyline is fun because they had kept those guys basically detached from the series. Like, they only ever brought Han back. Right, they didn't bring anyone else back. Which I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You know, he was a cool character in 3, so sure, bring him back. You know, of course he survived that fiery inferno. But yeah, to have that crew back, which I hate that they didn't include it in the actual film, but there are a bunch of scenes from 3 that they're not really deleted scenes. It's more like stuff that they shot to fill in some of the story. And there were DVD features, so I'm sure you could find them on YouTube and things like that. But it's that guy, right? It's the 2 of them. I don't know if they're brother or sister. I forget the relationship there. From 3, and they're like going around and getting tires and, like, you know, stealing the tires and finding parts and things like that. And so it's a pretty cool, like, interesting thing that's, you know, obviously they only ever exist on DVD features, and those are dying. So that was fun. So, you know, his storyline is kind of a lot more, well, it isn't. It's a lot more grounded compared to Cypher's, you know, super ultra hacker thing. But yeah, I mean, like I said, bringing back everyone, it's odd, right? Because it felt like the characters that left because they could go do bigger and better things.
Mm-hmm.
But now Fast and Furious has stuck around for so long that, like, spoilers, Gal Gadot's in this movie. Because, of course, she survived that death drop. And I think it's funny that they Chekhov gunned the sub earlier in the movie. Where, like, Alan Ritchson goes, "You guys stole a sub." I'm like, "Oh yeah, they did do that." And then it just shows up with Gal Gadot as the pilot, and I'm like, good God, you know. Like, I get that Wonder Woman didn't do that great, but do you really need the money that bad?
Yeah, it's that, and then I think when The Rock showed is another moment where it's kind of like we aren't surprised, but it's like I think a similar magnitude.
I was, you know, surprised because I was like, there's no way, you know, the beef that they had, he and Vin Diesel had, that was shoot beef, right? That wasn't a work for the movie. That was, those two guys genuinely hated each other. And The Rock is such a prima donna that I had totally written him off, right? Like, it was a cool thing that he's going to be back. And maybe it's because it's the final one that he's back.
Ish.
For
11. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Right.
The 2 parts of 11. But, you know, yeah, and, you know, it's just going to be such a... I will say this, the PR for 11 is going to be amazing to see. Right?
I want to know who's going to be together. Like, that's going to be the thing. It's like, how many of them are solo interviews?
I don't even care if they're together or not, but will anyone... Are questions about the beef going to be off limits? Right? Like, will that ever be approached? And if it isn't, like, you know, if their PR stuff is just all about the movie and you hear nothing about that, it's like, okay, no, this is still beef if they're still not talking about it. But knowing The Rock, he would try to just smile it off and laugh it away. But yeah, I don't know, like, what is your impression of this? Because I love this franchise because of the car connection, right? Like, I've always loved cars, always grown up around cars, worked on cars, things like that. So this series has always held a special spot in my heart because of that. Like,
to me, when I
mean,
look,
you're not that much of a car guy, right? So it's like,
right. I looked at it always as the crazy moments, right? In the same way you talk about, like, Uncharted in that context, and that's what I always viewed it as. And I accepted there was dumb stitching between these moments to get there, but, like, it's kind of like, okay, what dumb way they're gonna explode a thing or move it around or jump the world for no reason at all. And this stuff had it, but I do feel like this is a strong Fast movie, but not a strong movie, right? Well, I assume you agree with that context.
Oh yeah, this movie, like, from a movie standpoint, is horrendous. Like, the plot pacing is so bad in this. And you're like, how did this clear anything? And then you go, oh yeah, Universal just saw that this thing's gonna bring in a gajillion dollars, so they don't care.
Do we think Universal has ever watched this? Like any of them? Like anyone in charge of Universal? Yeah.
I'm sure some people have. I mean, Universal is big enough, right? That, like, people that work there are enough car people that work at Universal that feel the same way about the franchise as I do. So there are people that work at Universal and potentially even some that make decisions that have seen this movie, and I hate to say this, it's kind of a Stockholm Syndrome situation, right? You have such an attachment to this franchise that you're always going to go see it, even if it's stupid. Like, the Marvel movies are a great example of this, right? Where the movies are the same, right? Like, Marvel pacing is exactly the same, the story beats are exactly the same. They're like, I don't know what, a 7 out of 10 usually for the movies.
Mm-hmm. With some up, some down, I think that's probably valid.
But everyone goes to see them because you're so attached to, you know, the storyline, right? You don't care how ridiculous it is, you can copium your way through. And that's what this movie is, right? If you're a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, there is enough copium throughout this film that you can get through it just fine. It's not an issue. If you have zero connection to this franchise, you'll have no idea what's going on. Because they're just dropping names left and right, and you're like, who is this person? Who is that person? Why does Roman think he's invincible? You know, things like that. Which, that storyline is the best. And it started in 9, I think. Or maybe it started in 8. Where Roman's determined to prove that he's invincible. And it just becomes a storyline for him. Like, the writers just have him be invincible.
Wait, no, that is 9. That is 9. Remember, he was talking about how, like, explosion. That's 9.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying I think it may have started in 8.
9.
His character like, really in 9, that's his whole character, is that he's invincible. Which, him explaining that while they're at the internet cafe and Pete Davidson's there. Like, I've seen a lot of backlash around the Pete Davidson cameo. I don't have a problem with it. Right?
As serious as anyone else. Like, it's not like, yeah.
I mean, what? You want some just random actor to be there? Like, you know, it's... That character does not matter. A single second. Hell, there was Cardi B in one of these films. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and now people are
she
pissed
was in
that Pete Davidson's in this?
That's
yeah, she was in 9. You know, people are pissed that Pete Davidson's in this as a cameo. Like, who cares?
So let's see then. Is there any other thoughts, anything you want to discuss kind of in the film, or are you just kind of sticking with what you said before? Go see it in theaters, especially if you are a...
Oh, this is the perfect theater film. Like, I really hope this film is in theaters until Oppenheimer comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to see this film on the biggest screen possible. Because they just do so many crazy, you know, explosions or huge set pieces and things like that that just look way better. And I saw the new trailer for Oppenheimer. I couldn't avoid that, so... Speaking of Oppenheimer.
Hey, it's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Very soon.
I had avoided seeing that second trailer until it played in front of...
I don't think it gives away too much, at least I'm really hopeful. It doesn't, looking at it.
Yeah. Also, when did you see this film, by the way?
A week ago.
Okay.
Right before I left.
Yeah. So I saw this 5:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday, I think. The Five Nights at Freddy's trailer was less than a day old, and it was playing in front of this.
Wow.
I was like, holy shit, somebody, like, in the back went, all right, this trailer just, like, shadow dropped on YouTube.
Go now.
put it in the block. And it was interesting. That trailer is... That's one of those movies where, like, Fast and Furious is a great example of this, where the property that you're basing something on just really doesn't feel like it would be a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, if we go back to 99 when the first one came out, it might have been 2000. And you're like, it's a movie about street racers. You're like, okay.
Like, and are these people famous? And you're like, not really.
Yeah. They're like, the one guy loves D&D. The other guy is up for World's Sexiest Man. And then everyone else, you'll have no idea who it is. So you're like, oh, great. A nerd and a dumb blonde are making a movie about street racing. All right, let's see how it is.
And it turns into one of the most successful franchises ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, right? Like, in terms of original IP. Right, because Fast and Furious isn't based on anything. Is it the most successful franchise?
It has to be, right?
Because everything else, like Bond is based on books, Lord of the Rings based on books, Harry Potter based on books, Marvel based on comics, DC based on comics, Transformers based on cartoon, I guess. Like,
First, Toy be first.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a movie series based on a cartoon that's based on a toy. Yeah, there's nothing, no comics or anything like that before that. Yeah, I can't think of an original. Well, shit, no, Star Wars. Duh.
Wait, but that's it though. Then
Yeah, Star Wars and Fast and Furious. Because there's no way Star Trek is anywhere remotely close to Fast and Furious. If we're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
That gap is very big. Yeah, I mean, this like I said, this is the perfect theater film. It's got all the dumb action. This is the perfect movie to turn your brain off.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't need to think about anything. They explain everything. You don't have to worry about it. It's just like, oh yeah, that dude was there too, and he was there, and that person's there. You're like, okay, sure. Keep feeding me that action, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Momoa is a snack through this whole thing. So, ladies, you'll be happy.
And
even
on
some
that
dudes.
note,
Even
I
some
think
dudes will be happy.
that will be it for this movie club. Thank you, AJ, for your very timely closing thoughts on that.
Yeah.
We will definitely cut that out. Don't worry.
No, that shit's staying in, bud.
Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone. We are sorry for the late with the holiday weekend. We hope you enjoyed this film too. Tell us what you thought. And we will see you next time with our semi-late SWW show.
The SWW show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by our contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW show on social media at the SWW show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.